Closed captioning for A Piece of the Woods was made possible by Shorter Log Home Supply, providing for the log builders for 20 years. Underwriting for A Piece of the Woods was brought to you by Tenonizer Technologies, providing the log industry equipment to simplify perfection. Great Woods Cabinetry, providing custom cabinetry and more from online to on-site. From Minnesota, an online resource for log enthusiasts. And Quality Manufacturing, building quality portable sawmills is in their reputation. Last time on A Piece of the Woods, Mike took out of the cedar swamp the perfect trunk for a stump table. Then walked through the steps for scribing and leveling the table base. Then putting the finishing touches on the stump started the process for making a tabletop worthy for a stump table. Mike will be finishing the tabletop and then make a stump chair on today's A Piece of the Woods.
We're going to be finishing up the stump table. We ran out of time last time. There's a lot to it. We're finishing that up, cutting the tabletop down, getting the tabletop flat, and then we're going to go to matching stump chair that goes with the table. Right now we've got this one turned upside down. So this is the bottom of the table. We're getting this basically flat, mostly using the planer. The trick's going to be on the other side. It's not as bad as what you think, but to get the top side flat, just using common sort of hand tools. All right, we'll walk you through it. First thing we're going to do is get rid of the excess glue drips. Since this is the bottom of the table, there's a lot of this. Next we're going to take and we're going to cut off the major high spots just to get the bigger high spots off using a planer. You can set it so we're cutting about a 64th of an inch or 32nd maybe. Little bites. Well, what I'm doing here with this aluminum straight edge is I'm looking to see, as far as it being flat, but then also the aluminum is going to mark the tabletop. It's going to mark the high spots. It's going to show me right where they are. Now, a couple main things that we really need to get is we need to get it so it is a flat level plane with no twist in it. So that's going to require that we sight down across the tabletop and get a very good perspective of it being flat, flat like water on a platter, okay? But sighting across the tabletop, we're going to be able to tell if there's a twist or something in it and work it out as best we can. Now, another thing, we've got this is the bottom of the table, all right? So this is our practice side. This is where you do your learning. Now I'm down as far as the setting on the little planer, I'm down to less than 1/100th of an inch. Just a tiny, tiny little bit that I got the planer set at. And other thing I want you to see on the bottom of the table here is why I've turned some of these boards, turned some up, some down. Some of it's obvious because we got a flaw or a bad knot or something. But also we've got heartwood of the tree and sapwood. Now if you take a look down here, you see this line here. This pink part of the white pine, that's the heartwood. This lighter white colored is the sapwood. And when we put our Danish oil finish, the Watco Danish oil that we're going to use on here, the sapwood color's much different than the heartwood. So we're going to keep as much as possible when we glued this top together. I wanted the color consistency on the top, so we turned all of the heartwood as much as possible up. Okay, we'll keep working this down, get rid of this little high spots we still have here. we have the back side of our table now absolutely flat. It is perfectly flat. Well, remember now, perfect is sufficient under the requirement of the job thereof. On the back side of the table, this is now perfect. But I want you to take note of a couple things here. The cutting, as you saw a cut, going angle and going back over at an angle and going back over to angle and working very seldom with the grain, but working at angles to get it, the law of averages, making everything flat. Now when we tip the table over to do the other side, some things I want to take note of though. Don't move the planer too fast. You're going to cutting a little slower. So when you get to a knot, or say this one this knot right here, take a look here. Now I went over this knot fairly fast, and what did I get? I got a bunch of tear out. Now you don't want that to happen on the good side of the table. You want it just real nice and smooth, no tear out. So we're ready to flip the thing over. Yeah. Well, we've tested all of our choices here for sanding. I can't do that. This one we decided not even to try. The hand sandpaper. Now that's doable. If we got a couple of days to do it in. The little vibrator. It's twice as fast as sandpaper, but still it's going to take you a while. My favorite is belt sander here. Unless you can go down to Joe's place or a cabinet shop like that to get it run through a planer, that's a piece of cake. Now, our big sander here, this is our floor sander test. I think we're back to the I don't know if that worked quite like we had planned. I'm rather embarrassed about our floor sander test. Maybe you can find one that is a little bit more cooperative and make it work. Since this is our preferred way of cutting the tabletop down by hand, some things you really need to know. One, get the cord tied up so you don't drive over the top of it. Two, you're going to have to make full sweeps of the entire table. You go all the way down and all the way back, and just keep working it across as you go. Number three, as you can see, I haven't got this set straight with the table. I got it set at about 10 degrees, so it's a little bit offset. And I'll be running it down a little bit cockeyed, like that. If you run it down straight, you're going to leave groove marks at the side here. They'll cut a track in there, and you'll just have a terrible time getting it out. So, set it to the side, full strokes, and it's very doable. Practice on the back side. Get the back side of the table perfect, and learn on that, and then go to the front side, okay? And it'll be a piece of cake. Well, we've got the bottom of this table close enough so we can fit the base to it. Actually going to have Josh fasten the base to the bottom of the table. While he's doing that, let's go down to Great Woods Cabinetry. We're going to go down there and see our preferred way of sanding a tabletop.
Hi,
Hey Joe,
Hi, Mike.
we brought some tabletops down to get sanded.
Good.
I got 3 tops in 3 different stages. One, we did nothing but glue it together.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna see if you can run that through and what it costs or what it would cost. Next one, I cut it down with a planer and just got it so it's close.
Okay.
And then the third one is just about finished. I want to see where the best price, cost, you know, labor and all that, how it works out best. So where do we go from here?
You pull around the back. I'll meet you out there. We'll unload them and get going.
Very good.
Okay.
The reason why you do not want to get a table at the top that looks like this. Why don't you want them to come like this?
And what'll happen when you run it through is each one of these pieces of glue on here is going to mess the belt up, build it up, and gum it up and make it not sand flat and smooth.
And what's cost of cutting one of them down? Like the one that was plain, that was just cut down with a planer, with a hand plane. What did one of those figure that it cost? Like
Probably $75 to $100 by the time we get it here, uncrate it, get it through the machine, get it ready to be shipped back out again. Yeah. It's kind of based on what it takes us per hour, you know, how long it takes, so.
So if I send it down nice, it costs me less.
Correct.
Okay.
That hand sander was really pretty nice and smooth. It just wasn't quite flat, you know, and it's impossible with a belt sander to get it that way, you know. But on the flatten and so forth here, it makes it easy.
Well, we finished all the sanding on the tops that we brought down here, but now packaging. The packaging is going to be really important. Don't be afraid to send something decent for packaging, because whatever you send here, you're going to get back. If you package it in styrofoam, or you know, put foam between the layers, or blankets and cardboard, or something between your layers of tabletops, if you send more than one, you know, be aware that how you package it when it comes here, that's how they're going to package it when it goes back. Same kind of materials. Now, how are they going to find you, Joe? Where do they find you at? Web page?
You'll find us on the web page at www.greatwoodscabinetry.com, or you can phone us at 763-780-4799.
Now, we're going to take it up again, up north. We're going to put the Watco Danish oil finish on this tabletop and get it out to Abramson's place. So that'll be next. Well, we've got the table delivered, we've got the top mounted to the base, all stained up, and now we've got to make chairs to match this. So I got some, I consider them good ideas, but let's see if we can make it work. What we're going to be making matching chairs to our stump table. So they're going to be stump chairs, log chairs, stump chairs, but most log chairs, if you've ever sat in a log chair, they're the kind of chair that you reserve for the company that you don't want to stay very long. You let them sit there for a few minutes and they've had enough and away they go. Okay, we are looking for a comfortable log chair. You sit in it and you go, ah. That's what we're looking for right there. So we're starting right here. Matching base, you know, just a little bit smaller than the base on our table. But we'll start by scribing the bottom of this, which you probably, I'm sure you remember from a little earlier. We're just going to scribe that so we can cut it off. Well, now we're going to cut it down to the line, and then we're going to go to the next step. We've got our stump all flat now, but as you can see on the bottom here, look at the bottom. It would be nice if we could just set this on the floor on every stump and not have the thing tip over. Well, tip over with somebody sitting in it, that wouldn't be good. So we've had to come up with something that would make the chair nice and stable. So what we've got is this plate that we've, well, it's not a plate, it's the base of our chair that we've made up. Now we've got 16 inches center to center here, and that will give us enough of a spread to make the chair stable. So we're going to fit this in, we're going to route this in right into the stump here. So we're going to fasten the stump to the table and then route this into the base of the stump. Now we want to get this positioned so it looks correct with the feet once it's all together. These are going to be the feet that we use on here. They'll fit right into there. They got to get clipped off a little bit, but that'll fit in there. And they got a nice little swivel for those of you that like to tip back in your chairs. I think I'm going to get this, and we'll route this in, I think, right where we've got it here. I'll make a little mark here so you can locate our template. Now you can cut the same kind of a template out of a sheet of plywood and that works just fine. I have a habit of going a little bit overboard with things here, but it all gets used quite a bit, so. Well, we've got the template on there. Now we can cut it out with the plunge router. Yeah, that'll fit right down in there. We're going to take the stump now of our chair base, and we'll cut the angle on what will be the top of the stump that the seat's going to fasten to, and we're going to cut that to a 4-degree angle. Now, on these chairs, everything makes a difference. We are looking for the chair, when you sit in it, it just goes, ah. And that's going to be a challenge, but it's very doable, okay? 4 degrees. Now we're going to set this chair up for a person that is 6 feet tall, which is going to be much easier because that's the same height I am. So we're going to take the front of the chair. We've got this position, so this is exactly the front of the chair right here. From the base of the stump up to our little cut mark on the front of the chair, we're going to go 16 inches, and then we're going to tip it back 4 degrees towards the back of the chair, okay? And we'll cut this top. We'll cut it down with a little planer. Oh, I think I'm going to take a whack off of here with a chainsaw first. But then we'll just cut it down with a little planer. Finishing up at 16 inches, and then we'll check the angle as we get there with the protractor, just checking it as we go, okay? we've got the top of our stump now at exactly 4 degrees tipped back, and it is precisely level going across. The aluminum plate's ready to fasten down, but we've got to cut the back and the seat before we can fasten the aluminum down to this beautiful stump here, which is also ready to buff. So let's go cut the seat out, okay? We've got these squared up already. We're going to cut the blanks at 18 inches long, a 6-degree cut here, 6-degree cut here, and we're shooting for, well, the material I pulled out 18 inches wide, so it pretty much ends up being 18 inches square. It seems to work out very well like that. Now, if we left our chair seat just like this, we'd have one of those chairs that's, that you save for your unwanted guests. They sit in it 5 minutes and they gotta leave. We're gonna cut a contour into this that just fits, okay? You know what I'm talking about. And we're gonna use this fixture. Listen fast, this is an 8-inch radius, 8-inch radius, 8 inches in between, 24 inches side to side. This is our template, and we're gonna cut it out on the table saw. Now, the seat will fit into here. We'll fasten that in. Okay. My high school shop teacher told me there's a whole lot more you can do with a table saw than just cut a straight line. He showed me a few things. Like plug it in. On the legs of our fixture, we've got it so that the legs flare out, which makes it a little bit wider here at the base of our chair seat, where as you sit, it's a little more comfortable that way. We're going to take the Arbortech cutter, and we're going to have to clean out this center part here. Now this outer edge, we're not going to do anything to that. We're just going to kind of sculpt this center part here and get it so it's correct. Well, we've got our back cut flat now. We'll bring it over to the swing saw, where we'll cut in the lumbar support. Actually, it's a recess for where the shoulder blades actually fit, but it ends up being a lumbar support. Get this mounted in here. And now the center of the curve, or I should say the center of the recess, is going to be 20, on this one, 20.5 inches above the base, or the very end of our workpiece here. The cut will match a 20-inch radius. That's what we have from the shaft here that it pivots on down to the very base of the cut. The cut's going to come in there 1.25 inches deep, and then we'll just finish it up with a sander once we cut it out. Then we'll just take the sander and roll this edge and match it up to a pattern that we've got cut that makes one graceful curve out of the whole thing. There's 10 of these. 10 of these that go down to support the back. This is a very, very strong arrangement for this. Even though it looks, when it's done, it almost looks dainty, but extremely strong. There. Is that beautiful? All we got left is just to fasten the seat down and put a finish on it. Well, we've got the first of our chairs done. Josh and I are going to go back to the shop and make the rest of them.
For a copy of this episode, or for questions and information, go to www.apieceofthewoods.com. Closed captioning for A Piece of the Woods was made possible by Shorter Log Home Supply. Underwriting for A Piece of the Woods was brought to you by Tenonizer Technologies, providing the log industry equipment to simplify perfection. Great Woods Cabinetry, providing custom cabinetry and more from online to on-site. From Minnesota, an online resource for log enthusiasts. And Quality Manufacturing, building quality portable sawmills is in their reputation.